So I finally got back into romance anime, and the reason may surprise you. And no, it's not because of the feet. Actually, no. It's actually because of this.
I'm sorry, what was that I heard? Did you just tell your sister to help you get off?
Okay, wait, it's not like that, I swear. Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian is probably one of the better rom-coms that have come out in the last little while. They've all started to get a little repetitive, always just adding a little gimmick to try to separate themselves from the rest.
Oh hey look, this guy has 100 girlfriends who really like him.
I know it's crazy coming from me considering I talk about isekai like every other video, but in reality, rom-coms have started to get a little stale for my taste. It is also a little weird sitting here as a 21-year-old man watching two awkward teenagers yap for 12 episodes just to get a hand-holding scene. So I kinda started to fall off the rom-com game. Until I saw clips of Roshidere. It's got your typical run-of-the-mill rom-com anime setup. You got the childhood friend, the main tsundere, and the little sister character that wants her brother's baby batter.
Oh, that hurt.
But it's true, the reason this anime seems to feel so much more lively is somehow because of the insane little sister. I can't believe I'm saying that sentence with a straight face, but I can't lie. When I started seeing clips of Yuki, I had to see what the fuck was up. And so, that's what I did. I started watching the first few episodes to see what those clips were about, and somehow I actually fully enjoyed those episodes. I 100% expected to go in and just watch 3 episodes and be done with the show. And yet the characters' personalities had me completely hooked. It's been a while since I've been able to pick up a new romance anime and find the characters to actually have some well-made, quirky personalities. And beyond the actual good writing, the anime itself does wonders in its adaptation. You could tell it was a passion project from the start. I mean, when my anime starts getting this expressive, all I can say is Putin can try all he wants, but he ain't pulling me out.
Where were we? Alright, passion.
So what happens when a studio takes a good, above average, pretty well written rom-com and locks in? Well, you get a pretty damn good anime. It's pretty obvious with Roshidere's anime that the studio actually cared about the adaptation. I mean, in both the sub and the dub, they've got some of the most perfect voice actors for Yuki. And the animation itself is pretty high quality. You get scenes like this where everything is super well drawn with lots of cool ambient effects that really matches the story well. And then you get running scenes like this where it feels like the studio is honestly pushing their creativity, trying to find different ways to use the camera position. They easily could have had a side angle of them running, but this makes all the difference. Roshidere has a really solid base anime. Beyond the story or anything, they've got a good adaptation that really suits the cutesy side and the comedic side of it all. So if you're looking for a romance anime or a comedy anime of any sorts, but you're tired of all the lazy slop, then hey, this already might just be your cup of tea. And if that isn't enough, don't worry. That's not even the main appeal in my opinion. Roshidere is the type of anime that does a pretty good job of balancing character personalities. There's a decent variety of character archetypes that all play off each other well. Alya, last name on screen, is a more sort of tame tsundere, so to speak. She has the whole personality, but isn't overbearing, and she does show her true emotions from time to time. For example, here. Wait, why is she speaking Russian? Comrade? So yeah, the whole gimmick with this anime is that the main chick, Alya, has feelings for the main character, Kuze, but she's a tsundere, so she can't break the law of anime and be open about her feelings. So instead, every time she wants to flirt with him, she pulls out the... Oh, and I forgot this tiny little detail. Yeah, so the main character, Kuze, understands everything she's ever said to him all along, but she doesn't know that. It's a cool little gimmick. It's kind of the main thing that the anime seems to center itself around. It kind of makes you want to watch to the point that he'll finally reveal that he could understand everything all along. And I'm sure the payoff would be pretty entertaining too, because Alya does have some pretty cute reactions. But that never would have been enough to actually get me to want to watch more than 2 episodes. And unfortunately, that's where most animes stop, not just rom-coms. They come up with a big gimmick then forget to follow through with actual good content, just like people on the internet. But thankfully with this, you actually watch through a few episodes and you kind of realize that's not all there is to this anime. The one thing that I'm consistently finding is some of the best I've seen in a while is all the cool interactions and banter between Kuze and the other characters. Specifically Yuki's interactions with her brother. Yuki's a smug little asshole who's constantly trying to get her brother to touch her asshole. And usually that shit would get weird quick, but the character's banter is organic and so weirdly endearing that it's hard to find off-putting. I mean, just look at the stats. Yuki is the GOAT. She has the power of humor backing her, the kind of humor that gets the entire anime community to go, hey, this incestuous little sister's kinda the GOAT. And the banner itself is definitely what seals the deal for this anime. Kuze bounces off all the characters so well, and although he looks boring, he's not half bad. He's not a typical two-dimensional useless romance MC. He actually has some pretty charismatic qualities. And like I said, I feel like Yuki's insane brocon attitude bounces off his character the best. Like for example, there's a scene where Yuki's up to her usual shenanigans trying to get her brother to cop a feel, and she just turns around and says,
というわけでサービスショット。いやー。
どこ向いてんだどこ
あ、バカには見えないカメラ。
裸だけにってか
I mean, come on, this shit is entertaining, especially with the added touch of Kuze's retort. The jokes feel organic and are still out of pocket at the same time. Actually, now that I think about it, the reason I find Yuki so entertaining is because I love degenerate comedy. Things like Grand Blue Konosuba, all those weird borderline wacky anime are like Yuki's essence. But something that all those anime have is some sort of underlying depth, and while Alya does have some backstory to her character, if you go back to Yuki, the only depths she's exploring are the deep dark sheets of her brother. Or so I thought, till I saw this scene. I realized there was a surprisingly good amount of depth to almost all the main characters. It's kinda heartwarming looking back once you know. There are all these little things that start to make a lot more sense. I'm not saying this is one of the deepest stories about the human psyche, but compared to a lot of other mediocre rom-coms, this is by far much better. And I think that level of attention to the characters is part of what makes them feel like some decent characters. And speaking of attention, the fact that they make unique parodies of other anime songs for every ending is some crazy dedication. Like tell me why I'm sitting here and I randomly get a cover of a Haruhi Suzumiya ending. I'm telling you, anime these days are becoming more and more passion projects at some of these studios. Either that or they're working triple overtime and they ain't seeing their families.
Oh.
So between Yuki's insane commentary appealing to degenerate comedy fans and Alya's cutesy flirting appealing to all the degenerate simps, I'd say we've got a pretty good rom-com on our hands. So, if you enjoyed the video, consider subbing. Have a nice day. Peace.